Hello guys, welcome to Gustav's programming tutorial. In today's lesson, we will be continuing our tutorials on methods in Java. This is the third video on methods in Java from my channel. We will create methods that return values to the calling method. Now, our methods earlier only received data items but never returned any values to the calling method. A method ends when any of the following events take place. 1. When the method compiles all of its statements. We saw methods like this in the last video. 2. When the method encounters an error. 3. When the method reaches a return statement. A return statement causes a method to end and the program's logic to return to the calling method. Also, a return statement sends a value back to the calling method. That will be our focus today in this video. The return type for a method can be any type used in Java, which includes the primitive types int, double, char, and so on, as well as class types, including class types you create. The method can also return nothing, in which case the return type is void. Let's look at the structure of these types of methods. In constructing these methods, we need an access specifier, modifier, a return type, and the identifier. So, if we were to create a method to return the value of area to its calling method, our method header will look something like this. Public static int calculate area. The method returns an int, so it is type int. As another example, a method that returns true or false depending on whether an employee worked overtime hours might be declared as public static boolean did work overtime. This method returns a boolean value, so it is of type boolean. Now let's write some code. Let's try this challenge before us. In our main method, we prompt the user for values for the mass, displacement, and time. So let's import our scanner class. Import java.util.scanner semicolon. Let's declare our variables and scanner object. So int time, double mass, comma, displacement, semicolon. Scanner key equals new scanner system.in, semicolon. Now for the prompt message, type please enter the mass, displacement, and the time in seconds. Now let's retrieve them. So mass equals input dot next double, and on the next line displacement equals input dot next double, and then time equals input dot next int. We need the velocity, so let's create a method that calculates the velocity. So public static double calculate velocity. To calculate the velocity, we will need the displacement and time. So our parameters are double displacement and then int time. In our method block, let's declare a variable to hold the velocity. So double body's velocity, semicolon. Now let's assign the value of displacement divided by time to body's velocity. That is the formula for velocity. When we place the cursor on this red line indicating error, it says missing return statement, which implies it is expecting a return statement. So we type return and then our variable body's velocity and semicolon. The return value can also be written as an arithmetic calculation, that is, return displacement over time. We will use the variable and you can try it with the arithmetic calculation. And let's compare the answers at the end. Okay, now let's call our method in main. So calculate velocity and give it the arguments displacement and then time. We can assign it to a variable. So let's declare the variable velocity as a double. Then the assignment velocity equals the call. Our goal is to display the kinetic energy of a body. So we will create another method to calculate the kinetic energy. So public static double calculate kinetic energy. We will pass the mass and velocity as parameters. So double mass and double velocity. In our method block, let's declare a variable to hold the kinetic energy. So double kinetic energy. For the assignment, kinetic energy equal 1 divided by 2 in parentheses times mass times velocity times velocity in parentheses. There is a better way to deal with exponents, but we will do that in future lessons. Now, type return kinetic energy on the next line. Now let's call it in main. So calculate kinetic energy and give it the arguments mass and then velocity. To make things easier, let's assign it to a variable. So double kinetic energy and then equals the call. Now let's display a message with the calculated kinetic energy. So type the kinetic energy of a body with mass, then plus the variable mass, then the string kilogram and velocity, then another plus the variable velocity plus meter per second is then a kinetic energy variable. Let's run our program. In the output window, we get our prompt. We type 140.3 space 24 space 12 and then press enter, and we get our output displayed. But as you can see, the value of the kinetic energy is 0.0. If we rerun the program and then type 124.5, 15.6 and 14 and press enter, we get the same result. Why is this happening? If we look back at our code, 1 divided by 2 is an integer division, and IntelliJ tells us that integer division in floating point context. And if we click on this 3 dots and then show description, we get this saying reports integer division where the result is either directly or indirectly used as a floating point number. Such division is often an error and may result in unexpected results due to truncation that happens in integer division. So there is an error with our code. So to fix this error, we just need to add 0.0 to both 1 and 2 to make it a floating point division. Now let's rerun the program. Now enter the values 142, 21, and 15, and then press enter. And we now have a result. So error fixed. Any method can call any number of other methods. This is known as chaining method calls. So, for example, let's copy this velocity declaration and then paste it in our calculate kinetic energy method and add the data type double. Let's comment it in main. Now, remove the velocity parameter and add parameters displacement and time. In the method call, replace velocity with displacement and time and comment out the velocity variable declaration. Now to change this red colored velocity, we copy calculate velocity method call without the velocity and paste it here. Now let's run the program. Let's type our inputs. Press enter and it works exactly as it should. Now note, you cannot place any statement after a method's return statement. Such statements are unreachable statements because the logical flow leaves the method at the return statement. An unreachable statement can never execute and it causes a compiler error. Well, thank you for watching this video, and if you enjoyed it, please subscribe to this channel for more of my videos. I'll see you in the next one. Stay safe.